So these are our kids' map diagrams. They explain where the letters come from in terms of the flood. So the first diagram is the Thales TO map. Thales traveled to Egypt and he came back and drew this map of the cosmos according to what the Egyptians taught him, where the earth was surrounded by a large ocean, which is where letter O comes from, which is the 16th letter, and that the world is divided into 3 continents, which form a T-shaped. The Nile River forming the bottom of the T, the Phasis River forming this branch of the T, and the Mediterranean forming this part of the letter T. This is where the word 3 comes from. 3 continents, letter T. Letter T is value 300, and it reduces to the base of 30, which is L, and then to 3, which is gamma. So the way this works is that each year the Nile floods beginning on June 24th. Sirius rises, causes a 150-day flood. Waters rise to 28 cubits, or about 30 feet. So this is 1 cubit made of 28 digits. Each digit is a finger. There's 28 of these. And 1 foot corresponds to about 16 digits. So Sirius rises June 24th. Then the snow on Ethiopian mountain, which has all melted, and it begins to flow through this Blue Nile and White Nile. And this is the Blue Nile falls. When the flood starts, water, and this is when the Blue Nile is dry. So water surges down through here, through the 3rd cataract, which forms letter N, which is where letter N comes from. The 14th letter. And then waters go over here and they start to rise at Aswan Dam, which is where Philly Island is. And past this is where we start counting the gnomes. And there's 42 gnomes that go upward. The first 7 gnomes form the shape of the Little Dipper. 7 stars, 7 gnomes. This is the 7th gnome. The 4th gnome is Thebes. And the name Thebes equals 30 in Greek. And letter L also equals 30. And we see this is the Mish tool for opening the mouth of the mummy. And then the waters go down here. First they're 28 cubits high here, and then the waters go all the way down to the delta, which rise to about 4 cubits, 4 times this. And this is where letter D comes from. So we have N, 14th letter, L, the 12th letter, D, the 4th letter, O, the 16th letter, and T, the 21st letter. And lastly, if we go to our letter N block, we see what we just explained here. And the Egyptians believed that the flood was either caused by Isis turning into a kite or a falcon and crying. Those are her tears, which caused the Nile to flood. And the alternative myth was Happy comes out of his cave which is on Big Island, which is located next to Philly Island, he releases his flood water, and this causes the Nile to flood. The Egyptians had two myths, but this eventually became subsumed into the symbol N. And here we see Happy carved in stone on Big Island, coming out of his cave, releasing his water, which causes the flood, and also the snow from the Ethiopian mountain. And this became letter N in Greek, letter N in Phoenician, letter N in Aramaic, and lastly, the Etruscan Latin letter N, which is where we get our modern letter N from. And these printout sheets, again, can be found if you go to the Kids ABC sub. Go to Kids Blocks. And then here you can see the maps page, along with all the other sheets you need to print out to make the kids' blocks. And that summarizes the new printout sheets.